Our guest today is Scott Payton, managing partner of Bowen Craggs in London. Scott's going to teach us everything we need to know about IR web pages. This is one of 5 vid guides I made with Scott on Brock Romanek today on Zippy Point. So Scott, innovative things. So in the EU, it's more likely that companies have pushed the envelope than here in the US or elsewhere around the world. What are some of the innovative things that you've seen that IR web pages have that we might see on other IR web pages someday?
Okay, well, I think what I'd like to do is I think everyone can learn from other people's experimentation. So I'm going to give you some examples of, I'm going to jump onto the web now and give you a few examples of what we think is new and well worth emulating. I'm going to start off with giving you a few examples from GSK, the pharmaceuticals company. And this is innovation number one, is infographics. Now, infographics are often all graphics and no info, so they have to be informative infographics. But I think they can be, until recently, we rarely saw them used well, particularly when it came to communicating quarterly results. And GSK has these every quarter alongside its more traditional quarterly results materials. It produces this really kind of nice infographic, which just gives a summary of the performance for that period. There's a quote from the chief executive, there's a nice pie chart, and there's just some pull out facts and figures. Now this is not going to be everything that an analyst wants, but it's a kind of nice top level view, and it's also going to be really useful for journalists and also other types of visitor who are coming to the IR section just to get a snapshot. So use infographics, make them good, and also when it comes to infographics, a lot of companies make the mistake of making them not completely visible without scrolling up and down on a screen, and that just kind of undermines the point of infographics. They should be an immediate snapshot. So design them often. They also another mistake is to take a nice infographic from the annual report that's been designed for print with print in mind, and then stick it on the website as a PDF. They don't look great, and the visitor can kind of tell that this is a sort of second-hand piece of information. So design them specifically for the web, and use them to kind of provide a nice, engaging introduction to your quarterly results. And I'm going to stay on this page and show you another innovative element of GSK's online investor relations offering, and that's video interviews, video summaries from the chief executive of quarterly performance. Now, this is not unique to GSK. A growing number of companies are using more video generally in their IR section. This is a good thing as a society, and the world is increasingly getting more visual, I think, and audience groups of all kinds, including investors and analysts, are increasingly looking to video to get the information they want. And I think having video summaries from the chief executive or the CFO in your IR section, it really kind of it sends the message that that senior management is taking the investment community seriously and has actually taken the time out of their busy schedules to talk to camera and explain the company's performance. GSK, I've chosen GSK here because they don't just provide one video; they provide a number of different videos on different topics. And another pharmaceutical company, actually, Novartis, last year they did a really interesting experiment with videos. At the end of each quarter, during their quarterly results announcements, they held these little kind of roundtable discussions with the chief executive, the CFO, and a head of research, maybe a head of vaccine research. They sat around a table and just did this kind of little, kind of like TV news style discussion about the result, the company's performance that quarter. And I thought that was really nice, and it was well received because it just provided that kind of rich sort of insight that went above and beyond the earnings release and the standard stuff. So video is worth using extensively on in your IR section. Another related innovation, I'm going to go now to Deutsche Telekom's investor relations section, and they have a nice they do have a nice aggregated results archive where everything is in one place. And this is cheap and easy to do. It's amazing that more companies don't do this. Is in the results archive itself, alongside the links to the detailed PDF materials and everything else, they have bullet point summaries of the key points of performance in a particular quarter directly in the results archive. This is really neat, and it means that those impatient, busy analysts and investors, they don't even need to click into a particular PDF or other results material to get the top line information. It's right there for them on the results archive. It's amazing that more companies don't do this. So I'd definitely recommend that you copy this innovation. I'm going to go now to Shell, the oil company, and talk about interactive charting tools. Now, is this innovative? Well, I think it's certainly an effective use of web interactivity, which is why I've included it here. And it's something that is not as common as it should be in our view. And this is an interactive charting tool that allows visitors to slice and dice and map various types of financial information, and also download it into Excel. Now, this kind of stuff, according to our research and conversations with the investment community and with some of the companies who offer these interactive charting tools, is they're particularly appreciated by more sophisticated private investors, because a lot of investment professionals, professional analysts and fund managers, they've got their own fancy terminals and software. But I'm stereotyping, but the sophisticated retiree who's a private investor doesn't have access to Bloomberg terminals, but they kind of want to do a bit of number crunching themselves. And these kind of interactive charting tools are well appreciated by those sophisticated individual shareholders. And finally, I'm going to go to another video example. And I think this is innovative and effective, possibly more expensive than some bullet point highlights. But this is PMI, Philip Morris International, and the investor relations homepage on its corporate site. It has got a nice welcoming image of the head of investor relations, but under that, it's got a video tour. It's an invitation to invest, and it's a tour of PMI as a business, a mini documentary that's hosted and presented by the head of investor relations. And I think this is a really nice idea. And he kind of walks through factories. He interviews some researchers, some scientists who are working on smoke-free products. There's footage of some of the kind of farms in their supply chain, and it's a video documentary, and it kind of really provides a really nice introduction to PMI's business model, its corporate social responsibility credentials, and its financial performance. So get into the documentary making business and do a little documentary hosted by the head of investor relations about why people should invest in your business, and put it on the homepage of our IR section. It's innovative. I think this is the only one we've seen, certainly with these high production values. Texas Instruments, the semiconductor company, has done a similar thing in the past, but it's rare, and I think it would go down well with your audiences. So that's my little tour of innovative things we've seen on IR sections.
Yeah, I mean, video can be expensive if you're doing a well-polished documentary like that, but also if you're going rogue and just using a smartphone to tape, some people will appreciate that just as much. The roundtable discussion you mentioned, that could be expensive to do, but you could also do it on the cheap, just like we're making this video. It really isn't that expensive and definitely not hard to do and easy to edit. Even someone like me who just learned how to edit this year can do something like that. Thank you very much, Scott.